Australians argue that Aboriginal people came from Africa due to their own denial and justification of immigration as a convenient excuse for their historical wrongs. Comprehensive full genome sequencing of Aboriginal DNA has found zero detectable genetic admixture from sub-Saharan African populations. Multiple independent international teams applied advanced statistical tools, including d-statistics and principal component analysis, to examine hundreds of samples in detail. All results ruled out any African gene flow with contamination levels below 0.5% and statistical rejection of alternative models at high confidence. Australians claiming Aboriginal people originated from Africa disrespects both Aboriginal people and African people. Firstly, by attempting to erase Aboriginal people exclusive 65,000-year continuous sovereignty over the continent as the sole original inhabitants, while reducing their distinct languages, Dreamtime laws, kinship systems, and land custodianship to mere imported status, and disrespects African people by weaponizing their skin pigmentation and continental origins as a cheap rhetorical prop to delegitimize another group's indigeneity, thereby treating one set of black peoples as disposable pawns to discredit another set of black peoples through crude visual equivalence that ignores all genetic, cultural, and historical distinctions. The DNA data reveal extended periods of genetic isolation without any external contributions from African groups. Mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome markers present in Aboriginal populations show no alignment with lineages associated with African origins. Full genome datasets further demonstrate unique private genetic variation and the longest runs of homozygosity recorded outside certain reference groups, all pointing exclusively to long-term isolation. Physical characteristics including skin pigmentation attributed solely to long-term local genetic adaptations and ancestral variants rather than any African inheritance. No matching African-specific alleles appear in the pigmentation or other phenotypic loci examined. Archaeological evidence documents continuous human occupation across Aboriginal land for more than 50,000 years with layered occupation sites and cultural continuity that provide no support for later population movements from Africa. Linguistic patterns and cultural markers likewise show no verifiable links to African societies. These findings come from rigorous peer-reviewed work conducted in full collaboration with Aboriginal communities and elders to ensure ethical standards and respect for traditional knowledge. Australians who argue with such extremity that Aboriginal people came from Africa do so from a self-serving motivation. It appears explicitly in the repeated "we are all immigrants" rhetoric deployed in public debates following the 1992 Mabwa High Court decision on native title, where opponents equate Aboriginal presence with later European arrival to undermine exclusive Indigenous claims and land rights. It surfaces again during the 2023 Voice to Parliament referendum campaigns in online forums to oppose any form of special recognition or reparations by framing colonization as just another wave of migration. It functions as direct whataboutism to deflect discussions of the stolen generations, forced child removals, systematic land dispossession, frontier violence, and ongoing socio-economic disparities caused by settler policies. The argument allows denial of unique settler responsibility by portraying every group, including Aboriginal populations, as equally non-original, thereby absolving collective guilt and justifying maintenance of the status quo without acknowledging the distinct power imbalance, invasion dynamics, or unbroken pre-colonial occupation that define the wrongs. The tactic remains a recurring feature in political discourse, social media threads, and history wars exchanges where it serves no scientific purpose and exists solely to relativize and excuse those specific injustices. The tactic pits black peoples against each other by deploying superficial racial stereotypes to manufacture false equivalence between Aboriginal people and sub-Saharan Africans, solely to absolve settler guilt over specific historical atrocities which uniquely targeted Aboriginal populations as pre-existing sovereign owners rather than any shared migrant narrative. And this calculated division strips both groups of their separate identities. Aboriginal sovereignty is nullified while African heritage is mocked as a generic black battering ram used only when convenient for political deflection, with zero regard for either communities' actual lived realities or self-defined histories.